and welcome back to another episode of the Points of Articulation. My name's Dave, and if you're new to the channel, welcome everybody. Today I'm looking at the Hot Wheels Star Wars Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, released in 2016. Now, this particular variant of Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter, or Interceptor, depending on what you want to call it, was first seen in Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. Looking at the mold, we've seen it once before when I reviewed Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Starfighter. However, this particular vessel came out first, as you can see from the original flight navigation stand. And even though this particular model has no moving parts, I do think it's a nice representation of what it was in Revenge of the Sith. Very nice looking shape, and one of my favorite designs. I really care for it quite a bit. Having said that, I gotta address the elephant in the room. The paint scheme is off. In the film, if you watch Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan goes to Utappa, it's more of a metallic sky blue, if you want to call it that, and the paint pattern is a little different than what it's portrayed on here. Having said that, it's not a bad paint job, it's just not 100% accurate. So for its size, we're looking at about 3 inches long, which is very nice, and we do have a lot to cover today. We're going to take a look at the mold, the paint, put on a stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. So let's get moving. So let's kick this video off looking at the mold. Like in all my videos, I will go over all the major sections of the vehicle, and then we'll get a nice close-up look to see those fine details. First up, let's talk about the aft of the ship. We have our cockpit section looking very nice. In the front, we have that TIE Fighter-esque viewport. One of my favorite sections on here, looking dope. For the top of the craft, we have our radiator panels on the sides. They do not open, but they're molded pretty well. We have our astromech, which I believe is R4G9, if memory serves me right. Don't ask me how I remembered that. But the other R4 died in the Battle of Coruscant, when the head got ripped off by the buzz droids. I can't remember that R4's whole name, though. So, that's kind of weird. But anywho, this is the replacement R4. But pretty nice. Not painted at all, but what are you going to do? On the sides here, we have our ion cannons. Republic symbol right here. We have laser cannons in the front. On the bottom of the vessel, we have 4 rivets holding it together. Some beautiful details down here. Peg port for the stand, copyright crap, as well as engines. Very nicely detailed ship. So now let's get a close-up look. And starting off our close-up look, we'll begin with the front of the ship and work our way to the back. In the front here, you can see some nice panel work. Our Republic symbol right there, looking very clean. And the front of our laser cannon, which looks very nice. Lots of good details on there. As we come back, we can see the difference between the plastic and die-cast section. Looks a little different, but I do think they matched it quite well. The laser cannon pipe, or barrel, does bend into the main body right here, which I think is a nice touch. And we have this nice structure leading to the cockpit, or as I like to call it, the collar, because it does pop up, as you can see right there, which is pretty cool. I like that quite a bit. Very basic, but it gets the job done. Moving on to the interior of the wing right here, we have our astromech, looking very nice, not painted, but the detailing is there, looking good. More paneling on the side. We have our ion cannon, looking very cool. I think that came out great. And then we have the rest of the wing, which we could see some great panel lines, some recesses here, paneling in the back. Love the line work. Very nice. We have our hinge, and this in the movie is a radiator panel. Obviously it doesn't open up. The interior would look similar to a TIE Fighter. Looking at the other side now, it is almost identical from the side we just looked at. We have our paneling here, our laser cannon barrel, how it bends into the main body, our collar section, looking very nice. Pretty cool. Now for this section, it's basically identical, minus the astromech droid. But we have some paneling here, our ion cannon with some paint chipping. It is what it is. I did get this used off eBay. Some of these bad boys go for like 20-something bucks. I was like, what? So I just got one used. What are you going to do? I have a ton of stands So I just popped one of my extra stands on the bottom, and then I was good to rock and roll. Again, some panel lining right here. Our radiator panel, which is nicely detailed. I wish it opened, but what are you going to do? Looking at the bottom, you can see some beautiful detail in here. Magnificent stuff. Nothing is flat here. Look at that. That's pretty cool. You know, they could have cheaped out, but they didn't, and I do give them credit for that. But we have some magnificent mold in here. Looking good. Of course, a rivet. Bottom of the ion cannon. Bottom radiator flap right there, or panel. Looking good. Nice detail lines. Copyright crap. Underneath of the cockpit, 2 rivets. Stand connector port. Copyright crap. Engines, which we'll look at in a bit. And of course, we have panel lines on this side as well. Radiator panel. Model numbers. Ion cannons. Molding again. Just a fantastic piece. So now let's take a quick look at the aft. Now for the engines, you can see they are molded quite well. We have some beautiful molding and a little bit of recessing in there, which is nice. You can see some great design work here and a real attention to detail. Now, yes, we do have some paint mishaps here and there, but the mold is pretty solid. I liked it for Anakin's, and I think this one's pretty good as well. I love the mold in here. Of course, because of the paint and the die cast, the molding is a little rounded off, as you can see here, because of the paint, but it's not bad. Coming up to the top here, we can see some very basic molding on the sides, and the interior looking good. I love the little line work. And then we have our cockpit, and all the windows are recessed in, as you can see, and that is awesome. I love when they do that. Just very cool. I think this came out great. Nice. Now, my favorite part is the viewport, which is just like a TIE fighter, and it looks amazing. And we could actually see recessed windows in there. Pretty nice. And you know what? That gray does look different than the gray to the main body, doesn't it? I guess I should add dark gray to my paint list. I guess there's 6 colors now. And that's everything I have to say for the mold. In short, it may not have moving pieces or any of the glitz or glamour of the titanium line, but I do think it's a solid representation of how it was in the film. Beautiful mold, lots of little details. So now let's take a look at the paint. And now looking at that paint on the Hot Wheels Star Wars Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. This baby features about 6 different colors. Originally, I filmed this and thought there was only 5, but after further examination, there is 6. The first color up is a nice light gray for the main body. Looking very good. It's on the cockpit, the main body, the underneath, the sides, and I think it's pretty nice. Moving on from there, we do have dark gray, and that is on the support beams in the front viewport. As you saw when we had a closer look with the mold, I discovered that, so I'm counting it. Pretty nice. They didn't even need to do that. Good touch. Moving on from there, we have extremely dark blue for these accent panels here, the radiators, the collar. And, you know, it may not be 100% accurate to the film, but it does set it apart and make it pop in the collection, so I'm happy with that. Now, with the quality, for the most part, it is very nicely done. You can see some beautiful line work, but at times it could get a little sloppy, especially around the collar section, and we do have some drips and drops in a couple places around the main body here. What are you gonna do? These are made for kids, so... Anyway, moving on. We have maroon and yellow for the open circle fleet emblems, as well as the little triangles on the cockpit. So that's very cool. Pretty dope. And finally, we have black for the cockpit windows, the viewport in the front, and also the engines. All in all, may not be accurate, but I think they did a hell of a good job painting this bad boy. So that does it for the mold as well as the paint. So now let's put this baby back on a stand, compare it to some other vessels, and then we'll be done. And just like other Hot Wheels ships, it comes with a translucent stand. Peg it in the port like so. Hear that click. And just like that, everybody, you're good to go. And now for a quick size comparison with the Hot Wheels Star Wars Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter scene in the center. First, on the left-hand side, we have the repaint, which is Anakin Skywalker's Jedi Starfighter. Really neat vessel. And then finally, on the right-hand side, we have the Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Starfighter from the Star Wars Titanium line. Now, some of you might be asking, which one of these do I prefer? I'm going to stick with the Titanium. Not only do I think the mold is better, but we do have opening cockpit, opening radiator panels, landing gear, and I don't know, I just dig it. Mostly because I grew up with this line, but very nice. If you could get your hands on any of these, I fully recommend them. And before I move on, if you would like to see reviews of any of the ships here, just check the links in the description below. And that does it today for my review of the Hot Wheels Star Wars Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter released in 2016. Now, as I said, the mold, it's not bad at all. Sure, there's no moving parts, but Hot Wheels did manage to capture the essence of this vehicle very nicely. Maybe one day down the road we'll get a remold with wings that are already opened, or ones that can open. That would be amazing. Moving on to the paint. Like I said a couple times, it's not 100% accurate, but I do think it does pop in the collection, and that's got to count for something. Also, I do love the paint quality on the cockpit windows, the viewport, and also the open circle fleet emblems. They're very clean, and I think they came out great. For the blue, it's a little messy at different points, so they could have did a little better with that. But on the whole, very nice work. And you can't forget, it does come with a translucent stand to help it blend in with the rest of the collection. So that's everything I have to say about this cool looking ship today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, smash that like button. And if you'd like to see new reviews every Thursday, subscribe. Again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch my content. I greatly appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye, everybody.